So here we are back yet again with another anime convention review. This time we're talking about Animefest in 2023. You know, each time I come out with one of these videos, I'm always proud because I feel like each video was better than the last one. And it seems like every time I'm doing a convention video, there's always like something new I learn about the camera, something new I learn about the audio. It's just constantly evolving. And so each time I put one of these out, I'm like, wow, I can see the subtle improvements. And I'm pretty sure if you look back at some of the older ones, you can definitely see a difference. So I'm going to just say it right now. I am recording during the daytime, which is different from how I've been recording the past 4 years. And there might be a little sweat here and there on my brow because it is blazing outside right now. And I don't have to share this, but I'm going to share it just because I'm sharing it for the lulz. But whenever I record, I do it hustle and flow style, if you're familiar with that movie. And if you're not familiar, I'll just say I turn everything off. So that means, yeah, for the time that I'm recording, no AC. When it comes to anime convention videos, I didn't really have a plan on how I was going to record these. But I feel like when it comes to my videos, I like to give expositions on what I was doing that day, what kind of panels I was attending, because I feel like a lot of convention videos really focus on cosplay and just kind of showcasing the location rather than what did they actually do when they were attending this event. So that's kind of how I figured, like, I kind of grew into this. I didn't really sit and think about it. This was kind of something that really fell into place and I couldn't be happier about it. But anyways, I've wasted enough of your time. Let's jump right into the video and let's talk about Animefest 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I am Ryofu, and you are watching The Gaming Harbinger. So let's start it off here with this. For years, this location that Animefest was in, many moons ago, Akon used to be there. And so this location, downtown Dallas, the Sheraton, like has so many memories for me, so many happy memories. And this is the first time I've actually had the opportunity to stay in a suite, and it was awesome. It was awesome. Massive room. I'm not even used to this. I don't even know how to describe it, but I have a little footage here and there you can see for yourself. I am just not used to this much space, but it was pretty cool. And also, it was kind of one of those things like when, 15 years ago, I was thinking to myself, someday I'll be able to throw some extra bones at this and experience it. Well, I guess now the time is coming. Now I'm getting to experience it, and it's awesome. This convention experience was a little bit different, and something that was really cool to experience. I had one of my longtime buddies come and check out Animefest with me, and just to give a heads up, like, this is someone that has never been to a convention, let alone an anime convention, so I'm pretty sure there might have been a moment of being slightly overwhelmed, but from what he told me, he had a pretty good time. He only got to stay for one day, and I think it intrigued him enough to where he'll definitely go to other conventions. But this is something we've talked off and on about over the years, and just out of just pure like, hey, oh, you're doing that this weekend? Okay, maybe I'll show up. Let's do that. And so it happened, and yeah, it was a pretty fun experience. It's been a very long time since I went to a convention with someone and it's their first one. So this hasn't happened with me in probably over a decade. But we had a good time. I ended up attending opening ceremony this year, and it was similar to last year's minus the musical performance. So this was a very standard opening ceremony. Just an opportunity to explain what guests will be at the convention. There was some interesting news, however, and that was that Animefest was going to a new hotel. The hotel doesn't necessarily look bigger, but just way more modern. I will definitely miss this hotel since it brings back old Akon memories. But I look forward to seeing this cool new location. So anytime there's a panel that is labeled con horror stories or bad stories at a convention or something like that, I am all in. I am all in to hear that story because I know it's not going to disappoint. And I definitely have a few stories myself, but the stories I heard at this panel were definitely more wild than mine. But still, I know whenever I see that, it's going to be a good time. So, and my buddy came with me to this one as well, and he was not disappointed either. He was blown away by the crazy stories. But yeah, it was a good time. And like I said, this is just like a staple for me. It doesn't matter who's sharing the story. It just has to be someone that has gone to, like, you know, a couple of cons here and there. And then next thing you know, they have this crazy experience. And like I said, it could be anything. It may not even be so much them or in a way it affected them. It could just be something they witnessed.
I want you to put me in those positions. I respond. I'm a bot. Oh. I never got another message from them.
This panel was all about women working in the anime industry and the characters they voice. Some aspects of this have become hot topics in pop culture, I guess you could say. But I think there is an important distinction to make. When people are sharing and telling you their stories and experiences, that's different than just someone sharing an opinion. It's also very interesting hearing how some VAs didn't know the type of character they were playing until they already agreed to voice the character. It's like, how was this not going to end bad? And it's really interesting just thinking of, like, what would you do in that situation? I don't know. There were also discussions of what type of roles would you not do, or have you had any bad experiences with other voice actors, and just all kinds of stuff like that. And this was a very reflective conversation, and I definitely appreciated it. So this next panel was much lighter in tone, and this was hidden gems in video games. Now I will say this, like, when I went to this panel, I was expecting to hear like someone give like exposition on why this game or that game is amazing and pretty much fight their case, right? And instead what I ended up getting was like what I just told you. That was about 5 to 10 minutes of conversation, and then it was, here's a mic. Okay, now you tell me your games, and then so on and so forth. And so it's more like audience motivated, I guess you could say. And at first I was like, well, you know, I was expecting more than just that. But out of nowhere, out of the blue, this guy shows up.
Yeah, I was at a wireless.
How many of you have played this called Golden Sun?
All right.
You know what's up? This game is a gem, and no, it was not appreciated. I'm sorry. Its graphics were state of the art at the time. I don't even know why it wasn't popular. It was top of the line, Game Boy Advance. Honestly, I was showing it to people, and they're like, "The hell is this game?" And you know what? After a bit, it made me mad. So, you know, this guy just gave me an outlet for what must be, I don't know. Golden Sun is one of those games where it is an RPG made by Nintendo. I know, it's impossible. They hired a company called Camelot who typically does sports games. They made it where, hey, you get summons, you can collect stuff. Yeah, it was actually, the story was really, really good. I'll say straight up. From beginning to end, it'll keep you interested. Little dry, I'll admit. But as you go to, they made a second game after this that also no one played, and they just played this one, and they didn't bother to play this one. They played this one, but not this one. And if it sounds like I'm having a bit of an aneurysm, you'd be correct. I applaud your perception. Now then, this one that came after this one, which one came first? Golden Sun came out before Golden Sun 2. If you have any more questions, just yell them out.
Let me tell you something. This dude stole the show, like, for real. Like, Golden Sun fan goes off. And I mean, like, this dude was like, he was waiting for this moment. He was ready to go. And dude, we can all learn something from this fine young gentleman. Like, we can learn something from him. Just like, you know, when it's your time to fight, you better fight. And this dude did it. Congratulations. You get a gold star. You get a gold star. And also, too, let's, like, dude, I'm totally with him on that. Golden Sun, at least I know with the first two games, solid stuff. The DS game, I own it. Never got around to playing it, unfortunately. But you know what? Like I said, I'm with him. All chips in. Especially the first game. I really enjoyed that. There were others, but no one compared to the Golden Sun fan. I'm just saying, we got to keep it real. He killed it. But I will say, so overall, kind of like what I was saying at the beginning, this panel was not what I initially thought it was going to be. And so what ended up happening instead, I think it ended up working out all right because the commentary was just absolutely hilarious. So the next panel was a Q&A with Bo Billingsley. Now, I will say this, I love going to the Q&As because you don't know exactly what you're going to get. But I will say this, the people that are like newer voice actors, they'll typically just be like, hey, ask whatever you want. But when you get people like Bo Billingsley, you get the OGs, they want to tell you their story, their background, their history, like how they got into acting and how they ended up landing, like just going into anime. And I really appreciate that. I appreciate when we have a moment to just learn about someone's past and how they got started. And I mean, he's been in countless movies, countless anime.
We were voicing like thousands of orcs, so we had to do pass after pass after pass, and it was very, very, very taxing on the instrument. It would be something like, and so if you do that like for 4 hours, your instrument is saying, "What did you do to me? What did you do to me?"
Countless video games, the list goes on and on and on. And we even had a moment to hear him test his vocals.
But so you're saying you sing. Melissa did an 8 count for us.
You want me to sing? You know what I'll do? I'm going to do an African chant. Iolelewa, dumakamula boke, umata kelepa jebwapo, iawo. Okay, let's sing.
And I have to say, I really appreciated that he wore that shirt. It says, I prefer my coffee jet black. I appreciated that so much. Immediately after this was the Cowboy and Bebop Q&A with Bo Billingsley and Melissa Fawn. Bo played Jet Black and Melissa played Ed. Now, I left out mentioning Cowboy Bebop in regards to Bo's panel for this simple reason. How about we go all in on Cowboy Bebop on this segment? So that's what we're going to do here. So Bo Billingsley was not pleased with the handling of the Netflix adaptation. The Netflix adaptation has been panned by the fans, and Netflix has canceled season 2 a few weeks after the show's release. While I never had a super strong take about this, I just know when it comes to books, movies, manga, the people with the license are gonna take the things they like and add their own personal flair to it. I didn't hate the show, but I did think they changed some things that didn't need to be changed. But I understand this has happened to like 1,000 books over the years. Like, think of how many movies you watch that are based on a book. There's some super nerd over there that doesn't like your movie. He thinks it's crap compared to the book. So I mean, and a lot of us are none the wiser.
So we really wanted to support it. Now, I will honestly tell you that I didn't watch it. I saw bits and pieces of it, and then I did see that I was really intrigued to see how they brought Edward into it. And I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't crazy about it. But I wish that maybe she was directed differently, or just, I don't know, that's just me. So, do you have an opinion, or?
Yeah.
Okay, that's right there. That's what it is. That's the opinion.
No, said, I salute them for the effort. They didn't consult us. They asked us for our photos. Remember the photos?
They asked us for photos to put in like
on a board, like they were
As
like
wanted
we were
posters.
bounties. You know?
Yeah. Did they come on? Were they on an
Okay,
episode?
let me tell you this.
I don't even know because we didn't get paid for that.
I watched the live action, some of it, I never finished it, but I never saw any of those photos. But Mustafa Shakir, who did Jet, had a little 2 or 3 minute clip where he gave a tour of the Bebop, and it was a standalone clip. I don't know, it was on Netflix. So I watched that. So he gave a tour of the Bebop, and he goes by this board, and there's Steve Boo's headshot there.
What?
Yeah. And there was my headshot there. Below and to the side of Steve's, but my headshot was upside down. It was upside down. And that was the extent of our involvement with the show.
And just you two, they didn't put
Yeah, they didn't put the ladies in at all. And you know, I've often said that I felt that if they had respected the voice cast more, and maybe put us in a little card game at the end of the show.
Oh, that would have been
episode
so
or something.
cool. That would have been amazing.
Yeah, I think they might still be filming the show. But
The fans maybe would have.
yeah, because the fans, I think you guys would have maybe related to that, right? I mean, if the voice cast was involved somehow.
That would have been a really cool homage.
Yeah.
And yeah, they didn't want. We were gracious about supporting them, but they were not gracious about supporting us.
Right,
Let's get
right.
real here, I
Because
guess.
we wanted it, I really wanted it to be a success because I felt that it would introduce more people to the anime.
To Cowboy Bebop itself, and then
Yeah.
hey, let's check out the anime now it's based on. Yeah, very true. But yeah, it wasn't really a two-way street.
I always refer to Cowboy Bebop as a gateway anime, and it has a Western vibe to it. So it kind of works. It works in pulling a Western audience in. Till this day, it's an anime that I could put on right now, and I could slowly become captivated by it all over again. But going back to this panel, incredible stuff. I actually respect and appreciate Bo's frankness and honesty. It's what makes going to conventions worthwhile. You get a different perspective on the things you love. So one more thing about this panel. It was actually mentioned in the panel. Unfortunately, I didn't record this segment. Kills me inside just a little bit. But Melissa Fahn, she referenced to one of her earlier shows that she was a part of. And do you know what it was? Sorry, I couldn't resist. I had to use it one more time. But can you believe that? Here we are talking about freaking Argus. Argus invades the channel yet again. Job well done. Unfortunately, there were only 17 episodes that were dubbed in English. And I think this was kind of one of those things where the project just kind of got shelved and they just kind of backpedaled and decided not to do it. You might have heard me mention this on any of the previous Argus videos, but those 17 English dubs are available on the Blu-ray. I believe it is on streaming platforms now. So yeah, go ahead and check that out.
The thing is like, yes, anime, yeah, we all love anime, right? That's why we're here.
What's anime?
The big thing is you know, find other things to do while you're pursuing this career, because like commercials and things like that, it pays the pocketbook. But anime, like doing character work with anime and stuff feeds the soul. Does that make sense? So that's the same. Huh?
I will say this, there's sort of a tip-your-weighted policy with voice actors as well when it comes to conventions, because there is a literal school of thought, and I believe it's been said, some production companies have said that they're like, well, we don't pay anime voice actors that much because they go to conventions and they get money from them. But I will tell you right now, it helps if you like the voice actor a lot, and if you have the money to spare. Think of it as tipping your waiter again, where it's like if you buy their prints or their autographs or selfies or whatever, like that is genuinely very, very helpful to like staying alive. It's very nice.
It is nice.
Well, basically what I was just trying to get what you conveyed, so I appreciate you guys, is you need something to sustain, and then hopefully after time,
Yes.
you can become
Yes,
Yes,
that
but
is
it
correct.
takes
Live
a lot
off my voice.
I made the
Yeah.
most money last year on voiceover that I had in my entire life, and I would be making like halfway to the poverty line maybe if I lived off of that.
I would be dying if I lived off of it, so.
I made 12K last year and 6K was one commercial.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes.
Thanks, Ty.
Yeah, absolutely.
My family thinks I'm bipolar, but it's
The next panel was pretty dry, but a fascinating discussion on Japanese history. It was funny how sometimes a nearby panel would get really loud when our panel would switch to a different time period in Japan. Pretty funny stuff.
we found every time the emperor died and the great period flourishing of the stars. Chapter 2, if you find a slowdown, go into some detail there. Wow, those folks are really excited for the Heian era. So, chapter 2, Heian era. See? They're into it.
This next panel completely caught me by surprise, and it was like an analysis and breakdown of anime fans that attend conventions. And he pretty much compiles all these surveys and gets all these answers together and just analyzes, like, it's just like raw data on questions that anime fans answer, like, what's your favorite anime? You know, are you happy in your life right now? Are you going to college? Are you not working? All this stuff. And I understand that some people don't like stats. This doesn't intrigue them at all. But I think it's fascinating in the sense of you get an idea of like what type of people like anime. And even more specifically, what, you know, like what is their mindset? Are they happy? Are they outcasts? Are they loners? Is it mixed? Is it diverse? You know, what kind of women like anime? What kind of men like anime? Like, what is the age demographic? All these things, you know, it's really, to me, I find it absolutely fascinating because even the shows, they have like, okay, you know, if you're into this X, Y, and Z, you're probably this type of person, or you're probably this type of person. I find it, like I said, it's just data, it's just information. And I think there's nothing to like take offensively with this information. I think it's just really just more fascinating than anything else. And also, I want to leave a link in the video description, or actually, I think I just said video description, but let's put it in the comments. I'm going to leave it in the comments. And if you want to participate, you can. I will say this, if for whatever reason this video comes out late, what I'll do instead is I'll show what the results of the surveys were, and I'll just link to the website, okay? It asks you all kinds of various questions, such as, why is Persona 3 the best Persona game? You know, just stuff like that. Why is Final Fantasy VI so amazing? Why is it the best Final Fantasy? I don't know. Maybe you know the answer. I don't know the answer to that question. The dealer's room was pretty standard, a pretty decent size. However, when you compound that with a big artist alley, you're like, whoa, there is like so much to buy, so much to look at. And they always do a pretty good job of this. I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but yeah, this convention has a really solid artist alley. You gotta respect it. You gotta respect it. So the gaming room looked pretty identical as well to last year. Now, I will say this, I do not remember if Rock Band was there last year. It probably was. But when I was with my buddy this year, he had the itch and he was like, dude, I want to play so bad now. I want to play. We should play. We should play. He didn't really push it, but if he pushed it, I probably would have been like, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. But game room, like I said, it's decent. It gets the job done. So I would just say my final thoughts are, I think in terms of Animefest, my expectations and what they promised to deliver, they delivered. And I think really that's kind of like the thing that I guess you could say in some ways it leaves a bad taste in my mouth with Akon, is that I feel like there were some things promised and then it didn't happen a certain way. And then, you know, you get something different and then you're disappointed. It's not so much that, oh, there's all these things that I wanted to do and I just didn't have fun. It didn't turn out the way I expected. It's like things promised and then they didn't happen, or a complete overhaul. In this case, it's like Animefest, I knew what I was getting. I saw the guests, cool. Let me bring this to get it autographed. Let me do this, X, Y, and Z. and then it happens. You know what I mean? I didn't have any weird hiccups or any just weird moments where something didn't happen that was promised, and I appreciate that. But ultimately, I mean, there were a lot of cool stuff I did at A-Kon as well. So I guess you could say the takeaway is that Animefest has delivered again. I was pretty happy with it, just like I was last year. And for the most part, talking with my friends that normally go to conventions, they pretty much want to shift to Animefest. I thought we might try something a little different, like a Comic-Con or something like that. But, you know, the truth is that, you know, anime conventions are typically a little cheaper. Like if you want to just do a whole bunch of things and have options for a lot of things to do. So I think in this decision, I think it's a good one. I think I'm just going to figure out something else to do during the time that I would normally be attending A-Kon. But it's going to be fun. It's going to shake things up, I feel, and just make my A-Kon experience even better. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me. Please let me know where you stand down in the comment section. You know, as I said, like, this convention did not disappoint at all. I had a good time. And now, like I said, now my friends get to experience it. And I can't wait for that. I'm really curious to hear what they think. Like I said, I wish they would just kind of give in and get a musical guest or two. One thing I do look forward to that I did not mention in the Bo Billingsley, Melissa Fon segment is that they are going to plan to do another Cowboy Bebop meetup where it's going to have all 4 of the main characters. And I'm like, hell yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Well, anyways, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch the video, and I'll see you next time.